So for you, I'm just going to jump into the questions and then we'll do the draws.
Okay.
All right. This was a question I heard you asking her.
I'm okay with that because the way it was positioned. I thought she was insinuating something else.
Okay. Just making sure.
Uh-huh.
All right. You have worked on both the executive side of the business and you are an artist. Describe the culture of black music from both perspectives.
The culture of black music from, first I'll say the executive side. You know, the art of being a music executive. Are you talking?
Look at the camera.
All right. The art of being a music executive, I'm not going to say it's a lost art, but I'm going to say it's a diminished art. When I was an executive, my job was to go out and find talent, but not talent that had everything all together already. We had to develop artists. We would find artists that were raw, that just had the talent, and we would teach them how to promote themselves, teach them how to perform, teach them how to give interviews, do all these things to develop the artist. Now the art of artist development is now gone. Now these artists come to labels and the labels expect them to be all the way packaged, you know, have a bunch of millions of followers on social media and already know how to do all these things. And I think the difference is now artists are getting smarter and they're saying, okay, well, if I have to do all this stuff myself, why am I signing to you? Which is smart, you know, and so there's a difference there. But on the creative side, as a creator and a songwriter, musician, you know, I feel like those artists, you know, I feel like this is an era of ownership where we want to own our music because we created it ourselves. And if you're not going to actually, you know, help us get from one place to the next as far as, you know, developing and pouring, you know, resources and finances into what we're doing, then these artists are saying, and I'm saying as a producer and a writer myself, yeah, I'll keep my ball and play with it in my own yard.
Perfect. You have worked with everyone from Heavy D, Beyonce, to Tupac, to Luther Vandross, and now your wife, Warryn Campbell. How has the culture of black music changed?
The culture of black music has changed quite a bit from when I started in the late 90s. One, the way music is done is different now, you know, because when I started, there was literally no computers in the studio. You know, it was a big tape machine, and to make a beat, you needed like 6 pieces of equipment, you know. And so now it's a lot easier. One, it's a lot easier to make a beat and to make music and create it, and it's a lot easier for everybody in the world to hear it. You know what I mean? When I started, it wasn't that way. It was very difficult to get in. You couldn't just come up just because you had a great song. You know, you might have had a great song, but for 2 years, nobody would have heard it. You know what I mean? And so now it's easier to break in. And I think, you know, I think young kids are taking advantage of that. And the ones that are great are standing out. And in my day, you know, when I was a little, like, young kid, you know, 16, 17, starting off, you know, I had a bunch of friends that were great, but nobody ever got to hear them. And so I think, you know, it's a lot better now as it relates to, you know, the exposure. But on the other hand, we've declined a little bit in skill set and musicianship and people that really know how to sing and really can play instruments and are invested in their craft. You know, I studied 15 years in my craft, you know, drum lessons, piano lessons, you know, learning how to compose and arrange and different things like that, you know. And that there's not a lot of that happening now. People just can, you know, click a you know, button on the laptop and Fruity Loops and the beat's made for them pretty much, you know. So it's different. There's some pluses but there's some definite minuses as well.
Deaf to the people that are cheating the system, in my opinion.
Right.
Real talent rules. Tell us about the first time you met Tupac.
First time I met Tupac, I was at a studio called Can-Am Recorders in Tarzana, California. That was the Death Row headquarters. That's where we worked. And at the time, Suge Knight had us musicians remaking like a bunch of old songs. Like, you know, he said, you know, we're doing a lot of sampling, so instead of sampling these things, I want you guys to remake these songs, and when guys want to sample them, they'll sample your version of it and not the master. So we were in the studio working on, it was Love and Happiness by Al Green, and there were different band members in there. I was on the keyboard inside the control room of the studio. We had a drummer out in the booth and an organ player out there, and so we're all playing, and all of a sudden, mind you, Tupac was in jail, as far as we all knew. Tupac walked in the door of the studio, and everything stopped. And he says, "Man, I just came home. I'm home. I'm signed to Death Row right now. I want all y'all in here, all the musicians, you on the keyboards, you on the drums, everybody, y'all come back here tomorrow. We're going to start my new album tomorrow." And he just was like very, very excited about that. And that started my journey of working with him and hanging out with him for the next, 7, 8 months. Every day I was with Tupac working on his album, All Eyez on Me.
That's what I was going to ask. Which album was that? That's a cool story. How did you transition from making hip-hop and R&B music to gospel? Is there a common thread between the two genres?
There is a common thread between the two genres of, gospel and hip-hop and R&B, but even broader than that, that gospel thread is in everything. There's nothing that you hear on the radio right now that doesn't have a little bit of gospel in it, but for me, my transition was, I started in church first. So I had that church background of being a church musician, but professionally, I started out in hip-hop first. I started at Death Row, and then transitioned from being at Death Row, then I went on the road playing with Brandy. Then I started writing songs. One of my first big hits was with Drew Hill. I was doing all that stuff, and I decided, no, I want to do some gospel. So I started sending songs and tracks and composing things and sending things that I've written to different gospel artists and labels, and they didn't want to hear it. So that's the little Death Row guy. They wouldn't listen to it, or they didn't want to have it. And so I kind of got frustrated, and I said, you know what, I'm going to start my own group. And I started, kind of making these songs or whatever. And then I met Erica and Tina Atkins. And really, it was because I was trying to holler at Erica, and so we became friends, and we started writing songs together, and they became Mary Mary, and I had my gospel group. And so the stuff that I did on Drew Hill, the stuff that I would do at Death Row, and whatever else I was doing, I took that same style because that's what I knew how to do, and we did Mary Mary. And those same artists that I sent those songs to that didn't want to hear it, all of them called me after that and hired me to do different things. I wasn't bitter about it. I said, yeah, I'll take your money too.
Right. Smart.
It was great. It was great. Great time.
Perfect segue. The song God in Me rocked the music industry, particularly in gospel music. Break down how and why you introduced this new sound of gospel music.
It was what I was feeling at the time. God in Me was kind of like a dream. I woke up with the idea, and my laptop happened to be sitting on the side of the bed. I was still in the bed, pulled the laptop and set it on my chest, opened it, and made the beat right there. It took about 7 minutes. I just had this, I was kind of dreaming it, I didn't know what I was going to say over it, and so I took the beat to the studio and did some embellishments and things, and then it just kind of hit me. I came up with the first verse and the chorus right away. That was like, and I just went in this booth and I sung it, and then Tina heard it, and she came in and wrote the second verse. I think Erica wrote the bridge. I'm not sure how that worked out, but it was just one of those things that I just felt that way. You know what I mean? Not only lyrically, but the beat. If you think about it now, if you go back and listen to it, you would call that kind of trap music. You know what I mean? But trap music didn't exist at the time. There was no such thing as that. And so, for me, it's all about how I feel at the time. I'm not a trendy guy. I'm not about following trends. If it's on the radio already, it's already old, and I don't want to do it. My motto was always go left. So I felt like, on that song, we were going left. My thing is, if everybody's going right, if everybody's doing this thing, I'm always going to go over here and go left and do something different because I want to stand out. I don't want to be great and successful alone. I want to be significant. I want to be the guy, when they hear the music, they go, oh, that's Warryn. That's a whole nother sound. And so that's what I was really trying to do. Not trying to chase anything on radio. I was trying to be different.
Nice. I like how you put that. I want to be significant. How has Black culture inspired you as an artist?
Black culture has inspired me as an artist. One, because I'm all the way black, and there's no getting around that. But two, I love my people, man. I love my culture and everything about it. You know, my favorite era of all time is the '70s, and so everything that I do has a little twinge of '70s in it. You know what I mean? And so, Black culture is everything from the way we do our hair to how we speak. You know, the way we dress, the way we change up, the way we introduce new ideas in the culture. And even when another culture takes our ideas and they wear our culture as a costume, we come up with something else. And that's just who we are. You know, we're creators, we're innovators, and somebody like that can't be stopped. And so I always encourage younger people coming behind me, do not copy. Keep being innovative. Keep having your own ideas, because you never know how you're changing the world. If you look at our world today, everybody is black. Everybody.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Which artist or song inspired you to pursue music as a profession, and how did they inspire you?
I was inspired to do music by several artists, but before that, I was inspired by my father, who was a bass player. He was my pastor, but he also was an avid music fan. He played bass, and he listened to a lot of different music. And in most Christian homes, you couldn't listen to secular music. In our home, I can listen to whatever I wanted, as long as there was, no vulgarities in it. I would sneak and go listen to NWA. So Dr. Dre, DJ Quick, Teddy Riley was my influences, as well as huge influences on me: Prince, Stevie Wonder, and Quincy Jones. Those guys right there did it for me. I'm gonna throw Marvin Winans in there too, because Marvin Winans was my favorite songwriter as far as lyricist and all that, and his singer as well.
What would you like to see from today's Black artists?
Today I would love to see Black artists get into their artistry and kind of set aside. It's great to look good. It's great to be a so-called brand. That's the thing that everybody wants. I'm a brand. I would like to see artists put that down for a while, and let's not be a brand for right now. Let's be musicians. Let's learn our craft. I would like to see more artists learn how to sing correctly, learn how to play your instrument correctly, be skilled. You can never ever tear Stevie Wonder down, or you couldn't stop Prince. Why? Because they were real musicians. They knew their instruments, they studied it, and nobody can stop that. So if you're a young artist, I admonish you to learn your craft, learn your instrument, and I think if you do that, you won't be stopped.
All right.
Why don't you go to the drops?
You didn't want to do that one?
No.
Okay. So we're going to do our drops. Hi, this is Warryn Campbell, and this is where Black music lives.
Hi, this is Warryn Campbell, and this is where Black music lives.
All right. So I don't know how we're going to chop this. So Black Music Month moments. I guess just like you said that.
Black Music Month moments.
All right. So log on to thebeatdfw.com.
Log on to thebeatdfw.com.
Log on to boom945.com.
Log on to boom945.com.
And we're going to say exclusively on hot104stl.com.
Say it again.
Exclusively on hot104stl.com.
Exclusively on Hot 104
stl.com.
He's got to do that again. You can't cut that.
No.
I'm telling her she can't. You can't speak in between. Cut that one.
I figured he was probably going to repeat it.
Yeah. I'm getting exclusively on Hot
104stl.com.
Exclusively on Hot 104stl.com.
All right, and last one, exclusively on oldschool955.com.
Exclusively on oldschool955.com.
Nice.